the clerk please take roll, please? I'm sorry. Call to order. I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. Would the county clerk please step forward for the swearing in of the new members?
I'm not going to step forward. I'm just going to stand over here.
That'll work.
Would the new members please rise? There were 22 of you last time. Raise your right hands, please. I'm going to read a statement. At the end of it, please say, "I do so swear," or "I do so affirm." Do you, having been elected to the office of county board member in Champaign County in the state of Illinois aforesaid, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Champaign County board member to the best of your ability? Congratulations. Please sign your oaths and return them to me when you get a minute.
Congratulations, all the new members. Now, if the clerk would please take the roll.
Alex. Here. Anderson. Here. Berkson. Here. Carter. Here. Coert. Esri.
Here.
Harper. Here. Harrison. Here. Hartke.
Here.
Jay. Here. Kibler.
Here.
Maxwell.
Here.
McGuire. Present. Michaels. Here. Mitchell. Here. Petrie. Here. Quisenberry. Here. Redenbaugh.
Here.
Rosales.
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Schwartz. Weibel.
Thank you. Next, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Second.
Mr. Rosales, motion. Mr. Kibler, second. All those in favor of the agenda, all signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, if we could have the reading of the notice of the meeting, please.
Notice is hereby given that an organizational meeting of the County Board, Champaign County, Illinois will convene on December 1st, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. in the Wild Shields Meeting Room, Brookins Administrative Center, 1776 East Washington Street, Urbana, Illinois, in said county for the purpose of swearing in county board members and conducting official business.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, I'm sorry, need a motion to receive and place on file. I'm sorry. Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Covert, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next. We'll go right to it, the selection of the new county board chair. I will take nominations, and from there we just need a motion, and then we'll ask for a motion to close the nominations at this point. Oh, no, take that back.
You're just going to ask for nominations, and when there are no further nominations,
Then we'll
you will
close it.
nominations.
Very good. All right. Okay. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion from the floor for.
The floor is open for nominations.
Floor is open for nominations. Thank you. Ms. Berkson? There's a motion for Patsy Petrie. Any more nominations?
Make a motion to nominate Josh Harkey.
Nomination for Josh Hartke. Ms. Petrie?
Yes, I nominate Astrid Berkson.
Astrid Berkson. Any more nominations? Mr. J. Nominate Jeff Kibler. Are there any more nominations? Mr. Rosales.
I nominate Christopher Alex.
Chris Alex. Okay. Are there any more nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Okay. Is a second? Have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, nominations are closed.
The floor is now open to allow each nominee to speak once.
Okay. Floor is open now for each nominee to speak. I believe we can go down the list would be fine, I believe. Okay. So Ms. Petrie's first on the list.
I thank you very much for the nomination. And what I will be saying this evening is basically the same thing that I said to the Democratic caucus on the 9th of November, and that is, as a county board for the next 2 years, we have 4 huge projects ahead of us and maybe a fifth. And to do those projects justice as a county board, working together is the most important aspect. And to do that, one of the parts that I spoke about on the 9th of November is working to maximize the talent of the 22 people who make up this board, which is quite extensive. And this talent to work together for the health, safety, and welfare of all the issues of the county and to expand our fiduciary responsibilities that as elected officials that we have. The main thing that we need to be doing is talking together, working together, and being bipartisan. And this is something that I will work toward extremely with a lot of effort, because if we do not do that, our decision-making process will not culminate in doing the best for our county. And I will be working with the various members of the board to help put to the best use their various talents, and also will be working with the two caucus chairs to consult with them on how best to use the members of their caucus. I have several other ideas that I would like to put in place with consultation of the caucus chairs and with my fellow members on the county board should I be elected county board chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Hartke.
When I came before the Republican caucus a few weeks ago, I talked about my goals for this county board. I talked about how despite the fact that I am the Democratic caucus nominee and would be elected by Democrats, I want to be as open as possible. I want things to be very transparent, and I want us to make decisions together. I do believe that leadership belongs in the majority's hands because of the parliamentary procedures we use, but that does not mean that the minority is out of decision-making. That does not mean the minority will not be able to advance its ideas. I certainly want that to be open. As a gesture of that, I've already worked out my map of leadership, and I have 4 vice chairmanships I would like for Republicans to fill, because I believe that that's part of power sharing. But I also want my own caucus to know that I intend on leading from our consensus. My primary goals on this board will be in the areas of social justice, in the areas of keeping the nursing home financially stable, and in getting it to the high-quality standards that it is capable of being. I also want to move forward on sustainability at every level of county government that we can move on, not just environmentally, but also financial stability. And that leads to my fourth primary goal, which is to continuously provide the best service that we can to the citizens and taxpayers of this county while making the most for their dollar. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bergson.
I voted for Josh in the caucus, and when the paper reported his DUI, I still supported him despite his strange reply talking about a secret ballot selecting Al Kurtz. He should have remembered there are no secret ballots here. However, we have since learned that he has 4 criminal misdemeanors, including 1 with jail time. This is not a second chance, but a 5th chance. Then there are these financial judgments against him, including 1 with body attachment, where he was supposed to show up in person and did not. The chairman of the county board is the highest elected official in the county, and these are not the proper credentials for the job. So I am transferring my support to Patsy Petrie. Incidentally, the county party chairman has already said 2 years ago that he was going to get me, so further threats are useless.
Mr. Kibler.
So that's very hard to follow. I will say that my goals and our goals on this board is to do right for this county. I believe everyone sitting around this room now has that same goal in their heart, regardless of party. We are basically a moderate board. Yes, we have fringe and we have moderates, but in all, we are a 50-50 board. We have to work together because, quite frankly, we're being raked over the coals right now with such topics as the nursing home or the jail. These are nonpartisan entities that have to be maintained, that must be worked through together. And any sense of partisanship on anybody's part is ill-conceived and improper. So ultimately, my goal as your next chairman of this county board is to make sure that we have bipartisan support. Granted, we're not going to everybody be consensus on everything and everyone's going to be happy at the end of the day, but compromise is a good word. Ultimately, we have to focus on our budget. We have to understand what discretionary spending we truly have, where we can apply it, and what our goals truly are. I feel like this board has lost its sense in figuring out what goals exist for the board. We have to understand better on infrastructure, what we're going to do with the downtown jail, what will end up happening with it, as well as the satellite jail and ultimately the nursing home, the building that just was built. So all in all, I want this to be a bipartisan group. Unfortunately, for the past week or so, after being very humbled with the support of my caucus, I've reached out to everybody. And unfortunately, I can't count 12 votes. And I need 12 votes to win today. So with that, I'm going to withdraw my nomination for County Board Chair and ask that we put our votes towards Patsy Petrie. Thank you.
Mr. Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I certainly appreciate and am honored by Mr. Rosales' nomination. It was not expected. I believe that I would be capable of doing the job of county chair. If a majority of the board feels that I'm the right candidate, I would be willing to serve as the county chair. However, I have to say I believe that Josh Harkey, for all that has been said, was the majority choice of the Democratic caucus at our caucus organizational meeting, and as such, I feel obligated to support Mr. Harkey, at least initially, until we determine that he's not a viable candidate. So I intend to support Mr. Harkey on this ballot. I also agree with much of what Mr. Kibler said with regard to needing to work together. This is a divided board, and I do feel that there's a need for members of both parties to contribute to leadership on this board. However, the board also needs to be functional, and the board chair also has to be able to work effectively with both parties and with county staff. And I am very disinclined to wish to be elected to county board chair without the majority support of the Democratic caucus. So we'll see where things go, but at this point, I will have to support Mr. Harkey.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Alex. Okay, by my count, we have 3 left over. I believe Ms. Bergson has removed her name. Is that correct, Ms. Bergson? And Mr. Kibler has removed his name. So the 3 candidates that we can be voting on will be Ms. Petrie, Mr. Harkey, and Mr. Alex. And so with that, I'll just run by the rule real quick. We'll have a roll call. And when your name is called, please use a microphone and name the individual of the 3 that you would like for county board. We'll tabulate that, and it will take 12 votes. So the first 12 votes for win will win. If we stalemate, or if we only come up with 11 for the most votes, then we will go to a second ballot. And if we need to caucus, we'll be able to caucus in between there. So with that, I'll ask for a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll, please.
Alex? Excuse me, Anderson?
Petrie.
Bergson? Carter? Cowart? Esri?
Petrie.
Harper?
Petrie.
Harrison?
Harkey?
Hartkey?
Hartkey.
Jay?
Petrie.
Kibler?
Petrie.
Maxwell,
Petrie.
McGuire,
Petrie.
Michaels,
Petrie.
Mitchell,
Petrie.
Petrie,
Petrie.
Quisenberry,
Hartke.
Redenbaugh,
Hartke.
Rosales,
Hartke.
Schrader, Schwartz, Weibel.
What would be the tabulation of the vote? 12 to 10. Congratulations, Ms. Petrie. You're a new county board chair.
All right, thank you, everyone. Continuing on with the agenda, the selection of the vice chair. Nominations are open for that position. Yes, Mr. Quisenberry.
I would like to nominate Pius Weibel.
Mr. McGuire.
I'd like to nominate Jeff Keebler, please.
Kibler.
How many years have you two known each other?
Too long, he's no longer a friend.
Okay. Mr. Alex.
I'd like to nominate Geraldo Rosales.
All right, so far we have 3 nominations. Are there any further nominations?
I'd move that nominations be closed.
Is there a second, please? Thank you very much. A vote on closing the nominations? Everybody in favor? Thank you. All right. Per the procedure that was set in place for the chair nominees, and in the order these people were nominated, first will be Pius Weibel to speak on his nomination.
Microphone.
I point out that actually the county board rules don't ask for the vice president to say anything, but the vice president role of vice president is well defined in Robert's rules and in the rules of the county board, and they're strictly there to substitute the county board when they're not available. I see it no more than that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Keebler, would you like to? Kibler?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Kibler. I'm
You
not
think
an elf.
I didn't
that
know you
makes
either, right?
cookies.
I apologize.
No, that's completely fine. I do appreciate it, Madam Chair. I think I said what I needed to say last time around, so I would appreciate your vote.
Mr. Rosales, you haven't had a
I, too,
chance.
was totally surprised by Chris Alex's nomination, but I would gladly accept the nomination. I think it's basically to follow within the steps of the chair and to keep this meeting rolling effectively, efficiently, and expedite the issues at hand. So I would accept the nomination, and being 6th year on my term in office with 2 more remaining, I would be gladly to hold those shoes in that office as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosales. Will the clerk please? Yes, Lloyd? Not according to the organizational rules. Only those people who have been nominated can have the floor to speak. We would have to suspend the rules, and somebody would have to move to suspend the rules.
Second.
All right. Everybody in favor of suspending the rules?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Okay, I think we need to have a show of hands, please.
Division. All those
All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, I have to get up and count them. One, oh, are you doing it? Thank you. 15. All right. The rules have been I'm sorry, what?
Oh, at the end of the meeting, other business.
You wish to speak at the end? Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you wanted to speak right now. Okay, thank you very much. All right, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alex? Anderson?
Kebler.
Bergson? Carter?
Madam Chair, could you read the nominations again, please?
Yes, the nominees are Pius Weibel. Okay, thank you.
What was your vote? Pius. Cowart? Esri?
Kibler.
Harper?
Kibler.
Harrison?
Weibel.
Hartke?
Weibel.
Jay? Kibler?
Kibler.
Maxwell?
Kibler.
McGuire?
Kibler.
Michaels? Mitchell?
Kibler.
Quisenberry?
Weibel.
Redenbaugh?
Weibel.
Rosales?
Weibel.
Schrader?
Kibler.
Schwartz? Weibel? Petrie?
That's all right.
I know, but. Kibler.
How many is it?
The vote is 11-9-2 in the order in which they were nominated, correct? It was
9-11-2.
9-11-2. So we will need to have a second round of voting. According to the organizational rules, we can take a break between voting. Is that the preference of the board to have a short break? Mr. Rosales?
Instead of taking a break, I would like to withdraw my nomination. That way it makes it a lot simpler and we could move forward.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rosales. Any other business for the vice chair nominees? All right. Will the clerk please call the roll again with the not calling for Mr. Rosales? Our two candidates right now are Pius Weibel and Jeff Kibler.
Alex? Anderson?
Kebler.
Bergson? Carter? Cowart? Esri?
Kibler.
Harper?
Kibler.
Harrison?
Weibel.
Hartke?
Weibel.
Jay? Kibler?
Kibler.
Maxwell?
Kibler.
McGuire?
Kibler.
Michaels? Mitchell?
Kibler.
Quisenberry?
Weibel.
Redenbaugh?
Weibel.
Rosales?
Weibel.
Schrader?
Kibler.
Schwartz? Weibel? Petrie?
Kibler. All right. Is she giving me an official count? I'm not, I know you have, but, okay. Mr. Kibler has 12 and Mr. Weibel has 10. So Mr. Kibler is now vice chair of the county board. At this point in time, I would entertain a motion to recess our meeting until the 18th of December, which is the county board meeting. I'm I have no preparation for any of the remaining items on the agenda.
Rather than recessing this meeting, could you ask to defer all of those items to the regular county board meeting on December?
Okay, all right. The suggestion is, rather than recessing that, I ask for a motion to defer the rest of the items on the agenda until the,
Second.
thank you very much. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Esri.
I was just wondering if we would really need to defer the review of the per diem and mileage reimbursements. You said the rest. I assume maybe it'd be what?
I meant everything that is pertinent to
14.
the
Yeah,
organization.
8 through
Thank you.
14.
Thank you for the clarification.
problem.
I appreciate that.
If that's agreeable.
8 through 13.
14.
I'm sorry, in that, we've had a second on this. Who seconded it? Thank you very much. All right, is there any discussion on deferring those items that pertain to the reorganization of the board? Mr. Alex?
Just a question of logistics. At this point, we have no committee chairs, which means we'll be going into the full board meeting with no one to work on agenda and no one to structure that meeting. I'm concerned about our ability to function if we wait until the county board meeting to take this up. I'd like to hear from the county administrator as to whether she feels that's feasible or whether we need to reconvene at an earlier date in order to take care of this business.
Well, effectively, what that means is in December, we are only bringing items of business that must come to the county board at the December meeting, and they would go under each area of responsibility as required, and the agenda would be prepared, yes, I agree, without the input of chairs of those areas of responsibility or the standing committees. We would simply have to put everything on the agenda that was brought.
Do you feel that's workable?
Yes.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
Is there any further discussion on this? Because we can discuss it, and we could arrange to have a short special meeting to handle these items, as long as the window of time is sufficient, that there can be some consultations with all of the members of the board. Yes, Mr. Harper.
Did we do that? Did we do this 2 years ago when we organized? I can't remember.
I was trying to remember that, and I couldn't. I know that we didn't do it on the night in question, but I can't remember if we waited until the county board meeting or if we had an intervening meeting. If somebody who has a better memory than I weigh in? Okay, Deb's saying we waited, so.
That was my memory, and that was why I made that suggestion for a motion, but I'm open and happy to arrange things differently, however you would like to do it.
I guess it worked last time.
My suggestion is we just wait until the regular county board meeting. We'll survive without having committee chairs. Everything just goes through the county board chair.
Any other comments? Okay, those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed to the motion, signify by saying aye. All right, recorded, there's one no vote. All right. Now we are at the two items that we have not deferred, which are the number 14, and that is a review of per diem and mileage reimbursement. And I will definitely defer that to our county administrator.
In 2011, when the county board approved the apportionment plan, it approved the compensation that would be provided to county board members, and that ordinance number 885 indicates that all county board members will receive a $60 per diem for attendance at county board meetings, committee of the whole meetings, and regular standing committee meetings, and will receive a per diem of $45 for any other special or subcommittees that are convened as a result of conducting your business. If you should have 2 meetings scheduled in one day, you will only receive 1 per diem payment, because per diem by its definition is per day. However, if you have a special committee meeting and a standing committee meeting on the same day, you will receive the higher of the 2 per diems, which is $60. You are to receive mileage reimbursement for all meetings that you attend. So if you should happen to attend 2 meetings in a day, if you are required to drive to and from twice, you would be entitled to receive the mileage reimbursement for that day. Hopefully that provides you with the general information. The mileage reimbursement is at the current IRS mileage business reimbursement rate, which is 56 cents per mile. And I would just like to add, for those of you, especially new members, if you have not returned the documents that we had provided to you, if you would please do that at your earliest convenience so that we can be sure that you are set up in our payroll system. Thanks.
Are there any questions of Ms. Busey concerning reimbursement or per diem? Mr. Alex?
Just a comment to members, for those of you who live in the rural areas, by all means, take the mileage reimbursement. For those of you who live very close to the Brookings Center, as I do, it is optional. So some members, including myself, do decline that just to reduce the paperwork.
Thank you very much for that reminder. Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on to number 15 as other business, and the rules have been suspended. And Mr. Carter, this is when you said you would like to speak to the board.
Well, first I want to congratulate Jeff for his democratic idea, and it was a good one. We're supposed to be living in a democratic society, but when we come to our organization and function, we tear them apart, and it's no good. I was on this board when it was for 5 Democrats. 5. We never did go into a session like this. The people selected who they wanted for the majority party, and that's the way it was. There wasn't no back room. How in the world do you think we're stupid? You're supposed to be democratic, and then you come up here with a back door. Somebody been talking, and you know you had to talk for this. Why is it be the majority if you're going to strip the function of the majority? You make enemies within yourself, and it's wrong to your taxpayer. Some way we got to get away from this, and I want to say to the Republicans, y'all know I have your respect, and I never disrespect. But Jeff is the only one out of most that I see with the respect tonight. And that's what we have to have for each other. If we're going to be civilized human beings and want to get on, want to love each other and function right in this society, we got to respect each other. And we're not doing that. 2 or 3 elections now, we've been functioning with a kangaroo coat bunch. This is ridiculous, you all. Then that's what we got said there, because I never been not allowed to speak on the good of it all. And I had a friend, first thing, no. Is that democratic? No. So quit bull jiving each other when you come to this. You know, if you're Democrat, be Democratic and respect that. I could say a lot more, but I'm getting tears in my eyes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Carter. Are there any other comments or other business to bring up at this time? Mr. Rosales?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Mr. Esri? the vote for moving for adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.